Hello, this is Lars again with another video on new to crypto, new to DeFi here at the DeFiStandard.com, where you'll find the work of Mickey B. Fresh and Patty XRP, who puts this website together, the DeFiStandard.com. So I got some notes that I had made some mistakes in the previous video, so it's time for corrections. And the first one was only about 10% off, so that's livable. I said there was 23 million Bitcoin to be minted total, and the number is really 21 million, so about 10% off there. But the next one is like 3 orders of magnitude. I was 1,000 times off, and it's like oops. So I had a trip of the tongue. I said instead of 1.5 million Bitcoin dollars of Bitcoin that Elon Musk had purchased, really it was a 1.5 billion dollar purchase of Bitcoin. So, and then the final one was just like, I didn't know this. I messed up. I thought I'd heard that it was like 6 Bitcoin that the first pizza was purchased. This famous first transaction, maybe of Bitcoin commercial back in 2010. I looked it up by Laszlo Hanyes. May 22nd is Bitcoin Pizza Day now. But it was actually 10,000 Bitcoin that were paid for that pizza. And I just didn't know it, and I screwed it up. I said in the video I thought it was 6. So those are my corrections. And what they did for me when I heard that I had made these mistakes was like, and also that it was reflecting poorly on this channel. It was like, oh, maybe I should just be quiet and not say anything. I certainly don't want to do anything that would be bad for Mickey and his work. And so felt that way for a little while, and then I have this feeling that the meaning of things are just kind of, if we can step back and look at them, there's kind of a meaning there for us. And for me to make like 3 huge mistakes like that in a video, I don't think that's like really normal for me, especially 2 of them that are off by a factor of 1,000. And it made me think of what's like really important for me. And I guess I wanted to take a little time to share that. So that's what this is about. And if you want something else, you can just click off right here, right now. But I think these stories of where we come from as we enter into the field of cryptocurrency and any other area of our life, those are the things that are actually really interesting. Not so much my story, but your story for yourself. And so mine is that along the way of getting involved here in XRP, I would hear Mickey talk once in a while, and a friend of mine who was actually in his Telegram group would send me his voice messages once in a while, and I said to my friend, gosh, if I could just kind of be around this guy, I feel like I would feel so much more comfortable about my XRP and what to do, and when Flare Network launches, what to do. It would just be like such a resource to be getting the wisdom, the knowledge that Mickey has to offer. Well, and that turned into getting a chance to help Mickey get his YouTube channel started, and then his Patreon group and the website, the DeFi Standard, and it's been an incredible privilege to do that. And the purpose of these videos here is really introduction to people who are coming into crypto, into DeFi, into XRP, Flare Network, and who have no experience with it. I was there before, and I found it incredibly challenging to get a handle around the language and the terminology and the concepts that are going on. So that's why I took this on. And apologies for my mistakes in numbers. And if there's mistakes in concepts, as one person said, you seem like you're a little green for this. And indeed, I am. So mistakes in concepts, different things like that, just keep letting me know, and we'll just keep having this conversation as long as Mickey thinks it's like a useful thing to be sharing this. And again, the purpose is for those of us that are new in this realm. So those are the corrections. And then it made me think of like, why am I really involved in this? And for me, when I did get involved, what was going on as I was kind of studying things was I was losing confidence in fiat, the fiat model of doing currency in this country and around the world, doing value, losing confidence in central banking, losing confidence that we could solve problems with just increasing debt and all those different things. And so as I became aware of XRP, it seemed like, oh my gosh, this is really an improvement, a contribution, something that could be a real game changer for the way the world does value and moves value around. And looks like if it succeeds, it will also be financially a really good move to get involved at this point. That if it's going to succeed, the value of the XRP token is going to have to be a lot higher than it was when I got involved in 2019. But as I've continued to be involved with cryptocurrency, with XRP, now with Flare Network, more and more, I see that this whole thing about decentralization and consciousness and my engineering background of like quantum physics versus classical physics, and I also have a real interest in how the mind works, neurochemistry, and I've developed, I think what's for me a really important part of my life is helping people with emotional and physical healing, and I've actually authored a couple books in that area. And strangely, cryptocurrency, I find connections to all of those things. So I thought I would share that because, again, not so important what I think, other than I get my numbers right, but what you think and where you come from. And it's so fun in this Telegram group that we have now on Mickey's Patreon. Totally suggest that you become a part of it if you're interested in XRP, Flare Network, and sort of how this world is opening up. But there's people in there that are super good about the details, others about big pictures, others really looking at taxes, others looking at like how do I maximize my gain, others looking at just brand new entry into this and like what is going on here. I really love that conversation and the generosity of that group. So what I wanted to talk about here, for me, what's important is this whole move of decentralization. And now with Flare Network launching, I think we're about to move into this new stage. We in history for a while now, things have been becoming more and more concentrated, centralized power. The wealth distribution gets more and more skewed between the rich and the poor. Power of countries gets more and more skewed. And then against that, there's this whole thing of decentralization culturally and government-wise, and even now in cryptocurrency. And interestingly, in the Flare network, Flare is about actually becoming bridges for all these different centralized ways of doing things of, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then also commodities, having ramps to come onto the Flare network. And there they will be related to one another. And when I think about consciousness, there's like this individual perspective that I have, and then there's this universal consciousness. In quantum, it's talked about the wave of all potential, and that out of the wave can collapse into a specific thing. So it would collapse into me and my awareness. And of course, the original physicists that were working on this were working on subatomic particle level. And then folks started to say, well, if it works on the level of particles, atomic particles, then it could be a model for the way that we understand the world working. And so if you think of a wave of all potential, infinite potential, but it's not specific, it's just this infinite potential. And then when consciousness or awareness becomes a specific thing, this wave collapses into the specific thing. And in physics terminology, particles have both a wave property and a particle property. So they can be both, and there are fascinating experiments and all sorts of thought and research that have gone into this. But we can think about it in these terms like, oh, there's this consciousness that's general, and then there's this consciousness or awareness that's specific to you or to me or to Mickey, specific awareness put on a single specific thing. And it's like the Flare network is involved in that. It's taking all these specific different things like gold, like real estate, like on-ramps for Litecoin and Dogecoin and XRP, and it's bringing them into this central place. And it's giving them all the same properties of smart contracts and collateralization with Spark. It's giving them the same reference point. And then it's got this other piece called the FTSO, the Flare Time Series Oracle, that's providing prices between all of these things. And everything that comes to the Flare network gets exactly the same properties. It's like the wave going back to this infinite potential. And then from here, this infinite potential, depending on our choices, depending on our awareness, we get to use that in specific ways. Like we're going to get to invest it on Flare Finance or the Probity Vault, or we're going to be able to use those assets and take them off the chain into different places. We're even going to be able to take our assets, F assets, here on the Flare network that have all their specific properties, and if we want, we can take them back and they can become Dogecoin again. This interplay between the specific and the universal. And then Flare network, the more I look at it, the more I'm just impressed with the people who have put this together. There's a liquid democracy that's a part of Flare network. And it's a democracy in which I can have my vote, and every Spark token I have has a vote, a governance vote attached to it where we get to choose various parameters. But if I don't feel like I have the energy or the skill to do that, I can assign my vote to someone else that I trust. So, maybe I'll assign my vote to Mickey because I trust what he's going to do or something. Or maybe I'll do it myself because I get really involved. So this idea of liquid democracy is part of the Flare network. And the Flare Foundation, which is a part of Flare network, it can even be dissolved by governance if the holders of the tokens don't believe that the foundation is doing a good job for the network. This kind of democratization, this kind of trust in the network, trust in decentralization, trust in humanity, I find it incredibly impressive. And then that these values can come on and they can become so generalized that everything has the same capacities. Nobody's going to have an advantage. Dogecoin, which really didn't have a lot of utility in the way that XRP had utility, once it's on the Flare network, it has exactly the same capacities, exactly the same utility, exactly the same abilities to do things. So for me, incredibly impressed with what's coming on here. I think the takeaway here is you don't want to trust me for numbers without checking. In fact, you don't want to trust me for anything without doing your own research, DYOR, checking things out, making decisions for yourself. So I wanted to make those corrections. I feel bad about those. I never want to do anything that reflects badly on Mickey or this website or anything like that. But I also wanted to share with you like what motivates me, what's exciting to me about this project, and it's this bigger picture view of stuff. All right, thanks a bunch. I'm going to listen to this and see if it's what I want to put out and check all my numbers, and hopefully the conversation can continue. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.